Have you ever thought about credit counseling? Welcome to Your Clear Thinking. I'm Roderick Mitchell, author of Credit Straight Talk, Clarity on the Conspiracy. This video is part of a series of videos designed to help you build a solid credit foundation. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about credit counseling. Credit counseling is done predominantly in the United States society after you have had significant credit problems or filed some level of bankruptcy. Understanding and learning about your credit for it to be advantageous to you is not in the interest of banks and financial institutions. The banks and financial institutions would rather that you have damaged credit because it increases their profits for the long term. The exact same purchases by a consumer with good credit ratings versus a consumer with bad or damaged credit ratings increases the profit margin for banks and financial institutions by tens of billions of dollars. Yeah, I said billions of dollars annually. The consumer credit industry does not want you to have good credit or thorough knowledge of how your credit works. If you examine the consumer credit industry, it has similarities of a conspiracy of a kind to keep society in a permanent cycle of bad credit to generate high profits. All of the information in reference to credit is difficult to find and intentionally unclear to prevent understanding on how this system works and is meant to function. The writings on consumer credit are filled with unclear meanings and unrealistic explanations on what should be done by an individual to obtain and maintain their good credit. The importance of credit to everyday life should be taught to students in high school through several courses to ensure a complete understanding of it. Consumer credit courses should be mandatory in all public school systems nationwide, even if it means removing some of the courses that these students will never use past their high school time, because credit is an integral part of their life. Credit is so important that it dictates your place in society. Credit counseling after the credit is damaged or bad is not as beneficial as it should be, because after the credit counseling, the credit is still bad for the same length of time as without the counseling. The damage is already done. If credit counseling completion allowed for a reduction in the penalties against you to prevent you from repeating the same mistake, then it would have a greater meaning. Credit counseling itself is not a complimentary service. You actually pay a top price for it. The credit counseling industry works in partnership with the consumer credit industry as another way to increase profits, because the credit counseling is usually sponsored by the consumer credit industry. Teaching you about credit before there's a need for it or use for that credit makes sense, because if you have a solid understanding of your credit, there will be fewer chances and mistakes later on when it's time to use it. Teaching about credit after it has already been mismanaged teaches you something but leaves you in the same bad credit situation. Credit counseling can provide a solid foundation for a future of credit wellness for the credit consumer, providing a clear understanding of do's and don'ts that are necessary. Completion of good credit counseling will instruct you on what is considered bad debt and good debt. It will provide a strategy for cleaning up and managing past mistakes through credit repair or certain forms of credit consolidation programs. The counseling will reinforce the need for a realistic personal budget with saving and spending direction with goals to pursue. As you begin reaching the set goals, you will build more self-confidence and the momentum needed to achieve the financial freedom that you are pursuing. In this video, I talk to you about credit counseling and some of the things to consider before those decisions are made. Remember to subscribe below and select the playlist and see all the videos in this series. I'm Roderick Mitchell, author of Credit Straight Talk, Clarity on the Conspiracy. Visit my blog, yourclearthinking.com. Remember, together we rise.